Welcome, folks. This is Latino Talk TV. Welcome to beautiful, the East End, HMS Studios. You know what? This is a special day. I got my guests, one of my regular guest hosts, my good friend, Jesse Rodriguez. And you know what? He's going to do a guest host, but he's also a guest. And this is my good friend, Abel Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez has one heck of a resume. He's written several books. He's going to talk about today about finding a job in today's market, how to promote yourself. He's a great volunteer. And let me also say, this gentleman here, Jess, I told you, Mr. Garcia was the chairman of the board at Talento Bilingüe. And Talento Bilingüe has always had a kind of a tough financial run.
Always struggled.
It's tough. Being a nonprofit and, for the past 10, 15 years in this market has been tough. But I tell you what, when he left the bank, when he left TBH, he left money in the bank, which is really a great thing. I won't tell you how much. It was quite a bit. We already burned through that money, but I love Mr.
Was it you?
No, it wasn't me. It was way before my time. But I tell you, I bet he can give us some tips. Mr. Sanchez, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. They say in newspaper, they can say bad things about you. Just make sure to get your name right. Garcia.
I'm sorry, Abel Garcia. I'm sorry.
You said Sanchez a couple of times. You can confuse me.
He's a great friend, and he's a community leader, Abel Sanchez.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, he and I go around a lot.
Thank you for correcting me.
That's all right.
That, man.
No problem.
I'm sorry, man. But you know what? I look at my kids and I forget their names.
You know what, Mr. Garcia? I was going to tell you, Ben should have been here. Ben's looking for a job, so this guy can tell you how to. He used to be an executive search. You said you're in an executive search business, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Man, Ben.
You know what? But Ben has so many rods in the
irons in the fire.
So many irons in the fire. He always falls. He's like a cat. He always lands on his feet. So
I know.
It's good. You know what, Justin? Today it's going to be our last show for the. We're going to take summer off, which is the first time we've really done that in probably at least 2 or 3 years. Man, we've been going steady year round. And so we're taking the summer off this coming summer. So it's going to be a good time.
So y'all do run reruns
I think they might have another show here in our spot, but we'll be back in September. So before we get to the end of the show, we want to introduce all the different volunteers that have helped us out to help us out through all the year. We got a bunch of great people. Without volunteers, it's like TBH. Without volunteers, man, nothing happens.
Well, maybe Mr. Garcia can take over our show.
Hey, he could have our time slot.
Yeah,
as long as he gives it back in September. I don't know about that.
He might get higher ratings than us.
I tell you, but folks, it was a great weekend. Let's go in a topic, but it was a great weekend, wasn't it?
There was so much going on. I mean, the Rockets played Friday night. I know they lost, but then they came back and then
won last night.
And then they won last night, which is good. Now it's 2-2. They go to San Antonio tomorrow for Tuesday, then they come back to Houston on Thursday. As I just trying to find out, both games are at 7 o'clock, so it's early games. And then, of course, we had the big fight, Canelo and Chavez. Canelo won the fight, evidently. He said he was picked every round by the unanimous decision. And so that was a big moneymaker. I wanted to say congratulations to Oscar De La Hoya for promoting that fight and getting the big money for our raza for the first time. It was always Don King and other Johan and others be promotions. So De La Hoya's got his hand in the promotional game, and that's where the money's at, putting up the big fights.
The promos,
the promotion, I mean, it's good. Hopefully he'll buy into our movie. We have a movie going on at TBH.
Really?
We have TBH Productions, and it's called
Beyond Dreams.
Beyond Dreams. It's a great story of
Manuel El Cabrito Zuniga. He was a boxer that died tragically in a gun accident and was a great up-and-coming young boxer. It's his story, as well as his best friend, who after he passed away, his friend stepped in there, had never boxed before, and to this day is undefeated.
He made a promiso to his dying friend that he would take over as a boxing guy. He's never boxed before. It's a great story.
Well, it sounds like a very good story.
So right now they're filming it at TBH. They got like a 4 out of 6. It's kind of like a mini series. And I was telling, of course, our good friend Lupe Cáceres, hey, if we can get De La Hoya in to buy in, can we write a story for him to be in the 7th series? He said, of course.
We'd love to have him in there, really.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
And then also we had our Friday night and Saturday night, we had our own Cinco de Mayo events where we had our accordion fest, and it was kicking off our first time. And we had Jorge Moreno out of California. We had another great prodigy out of, he's got a great story. I love his story. Mr. Ruben Moreno. Ruben's got the story, read his bio, but Ruben, his grandmother raised him. She had a lounge on Milby, Second Ward, on Milby Street. And it was actually, she's a Mexicana, but she ran a Zydeco lounge. And he was one of the young kids as a grandchild that slept on the chairs at the lounge where she was raising him. And so he was influenced by all these great black Zydeco, Wilter and Sevis, Step Rito, and on. So he learned to play Zydeco music. And the guy's very talented.
Top accordionist.
Wow. Yeah, awesome.
I think he got a regional Grammy or something like that for his actually he got it for his vocals.
Yeah, the guy's.
But he's a heck of an accordion
player. He's an accordion player. He's a singer, songwriter. He's his own manager. A very sharp, intelligent young man, and very humble. I mean,
is he still in the Houston area?
Yeah, he's still.
Yeah, he lives here in the East End.
Houston. He did a gig for us Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, he really helped us out.
And he gave us a really great deal. He charges a lot more, but he worked with us. He loves TBH. He's played there before. And actually, I came by here. I think it was Friday to pick up some equipment, and they had him on the TV.
Oh,
here, and it was at TBH. It was the Menudo Fest.
Oh,
they were playing Fest, yeah. And with the background on the stage, Javier, man, it made me feel good and proud. It was there, and then had TBH in the background, and it was showing here on the HMS.
I tell you, those murals we have at TBH, Jess, are really, I mean, that's really an identifying. It's becoming a landmark for Houston and for the East End. I mean, you see the Yo Creo, the little campesino holding the airplane, just kind of wondering.
Yeah.
You know, hey, didn't the campesino look a little like Flaco Jimenez?
A little bit.
You look a little bit like Flaco Jimenez.
Have you had a chance to come by our center yet and see the new murals?
Yes, you have.
Yes, I was there. Was it a couple of weeks ago?
A few weeks ago.
What did you think? It was impressive. Right?
I think that TBH is in my heart. I spent 4 years there, and I had a book opening there. Univision ran a series on another program that a principal and I have done, Miss Emily Cole, Becoming Tomorrow's Leaders, and I insisted that they film the piece that they were doing at TBH, because TBH is a place where I think a lot of things should happen in our community.
And thank you very much. And we're getting ready to open up our bookstore. We'd like to have you back. You know, when we open up the books, so you can bring your books and speak, and you can do another relaunch. And you mentioned Miss Emily Cole. I just happened to meet her at a restaurant about a month ago, and not knowing that she was a principal at Davis High School.
Right.
And she was also one of our TBH chairpersons.
She was.
She was. Yeah, that's right.
So thank you for bringing back those memories, Mr. Garcia, and definitely we want you to come back, and we want to. We're going to have our 40th anniversary. We're honoring all our chairs as part of and we want you to definitely come back.
Be happy to be there. Thanks for the invite.
Hoping to say a few words and also help us on our book
launch.
launch.
Get us like $100,000 sponsorship.
All right, to sponsor the event.
Hey, we can sell that many books for him. He'll sponsor us.
Well, I'm a step ahead because I've had my first book translated to Spanish.
Congratulations.
The job plan, El Plan de Trabajo. And one of the things that I plan to do is ask permission to have a book signing there at TBH.
Oh,
the first one there first.
We'd love to do it, absolutely.
We love it. We love it. Thank you so very much. So, anyway, Javier, and
we did, and Flaco was there Saturday.
Put on a good show. Superintendent came out there. I mean, there's so many things going on. It's so hard. And then I heard they had Lemonade Day Sunday. It was the National Lemonade Day where a lot of young Hispanics are out there, set up their lemonade stands. And my granddaughter was doing it there at Via Arcos. They had a little benefit for a lot of shoes for kids. They had a crawfish boil. So she made $132. And what really made me feel good, she gave $35 to her cousin that was helping her. And then she gave the other $100 to her teacher. And her daughter, Maricela, asked her, what do you want to do with the money? I mean, you want to keep any of it? No, I want to give it all to my teacher. That's what she did today.
Well, she learned from her grandpa. Learned from her grandpa.
So, it made my daughter cry. It made the teacher cry that, that kind of heart she had.
I'm looking myself on camera, man. I look good today.
You look sharp up here.
You know what? Pat, you're a lucky woman. My wife, Pat, who's one of the producers. Now I can see her mouthing some words over there in the control room.
Shaking her head. What's the word?
You shouldn't have expected that from me.
I know. What's that word she uses on the other?
Well, I don't even want to say. I don't even want to say the word she uses for me, Jess. But you know what, Jess? I mean, it was. I really want to thank the staff at TBH. You know, yourself, Jess. You know, your leadership has been great there. You know, our board is getting engaged. You know, better days are on the horizon for us. Fundraising wise, you guys are really getting on the ball. So it's really great, and thank you for being there. And a couple of our board members were there. Augie,
he showed up.
Pineda was there. You know, he was there for half a day helping us out there. You know, he's a great man. He's retired, isn't he?
Yeah, he's retired.
And I think he retired. Is he an engineer or something like that?
He was a math teacher.
Math or something. Yeah, I remember.
Mathematician.
And Lulac, you know,
he's a civil rights activist. He goes throughout. I didn't know this. He goes throughout the state of Texas when there's a civil rights issue in El Paso, Dallas. He flies to that city or drives to that city and helps, you know, find a resolution to that situation. So he's a civil rights activist, resolutionist. He tries to find problems to that, and he does that, you know, on a volunteer basis for LULAC. And Javier, we got to thank all the volunteers, like your beautiful wife Pat, who works so hard out there. And then
she's tough cookie, isn't she?
I know, yeah.
She works that door. You got to pay something here, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. And then Tamika, and then of course
Tamika, our security guard,
and Hugo, and then there was a Shanae, or what's his name? The name of the volunteer.
Oh my goodness!
Heyday, Mayday.
Mayday.
Mayday. I'll change his name to Shanae.
Shanae, but Mayday was, oh man, he really helped out. He was, you know, Richard Reyes, we didn't mention, who was there most of the weekend.
Yeah, he was selling hot dogs and nachos.
They
helped raise money for his program.
Absolutely, and I mean, Richard, you know, this year we've had him for about a year now. Richard's been a real blessing and a godsend to us. You know, he brings a lot of experience.
You know, his title, I don't know if he knew his title, it's Executive Director Emeritus.
Yeah, Executive Director Emeritus, yeah.
That's his title.
Which means he's a fancy name for he's another volunteer out there that's giving us his time. But you know what, Jess, and you know, Ms. Esperanza was there, Ms. Esperanza Sanchez. She's been you know, always there clean. You know, she's head of cleanup. She protects that place like her own. And keeps it clean. She's something that she takes a lot of pride
in there.
Ms. Esperanza, you know, Richard Farias was there for a couple of days. Richard Carranza, Dr. Carranza was there, you know, and supporting us on Saturday night. And we took him to the back and had him meet Flaco Jimenez. So
another thing was
his beautiful
wife,
beautiful bride,
Monique.
Monique. She was there.
One thing that really caught me today, I was just going through Facebook, raising through every other things, and Richard Farias and then Lupe Cáceres, they were talking to all the young students that were there. We paired up with a school that teaches accordion in Bajo Sexto, a gentleman named Balde Elizondo. And this guy's got a great story on his own. He was a migrant farm worker with his parents, and then he went to a special program, became a teacher, got his bachelor's and his master's in bilingual education. And up in Idaho, he came back, and now he teaches the accordion in Bajo Sexto. Him and his brother, they have a school, and it moved, and nobody knew about it. It's been going on 10 years. It moved out of San Jacinto, Galena Park area, and now it's off 59. So it's all the kids were out there, and it was at TBH, and then Richard Farias is giving these words of encouragement, letting everybody know this is your new home. You know, we welcome you all the time. We hope to come and bring you back, because we gave 5 students time on Friday, 5 students on Saturday. They gave them about 10 to 15 minutes to perform.
You know what's good? Well, these kids were I was surprised how talented these kids were. They told me they were good. I didn't know they were that good. They were excellent musicians.
So this is the collaboration we're trying to do at TBH, open up new doors, do new things. And I think we hit a home run on that, you know, by teaming up with them and having these young kids to kick off our accordion festival. And then Ruben Moreno playing the Zydeco was also great. So, I mean, and then we got to thank our big sponsor, Lydia Farias at Fred Haas Toyota.
Oh man, Lydia, really came through for us. Fred House Toyota did a fantastic job for us.
And then we were in the parade also. I forgot to mention about that.
The parade,
the Cinco de
that's
Mayo
right.
parade. And I got to congratulate Celia. She was on our show on
Celia
Monday.
Baez. She's on Councilman Gallego's staff. Yeah.
But she was doing this on behalf of her LULAC group.
Yeah.
She was able to bring in from Disney the first Hispanic princess, Elena de Avalar.
Wow.
So Disney has an Hispanic princess. Then they had a private thing to show all the girls were just going crazy. This girl had her princess dress, taking pictures with her. She was in the parade, and you know we need role models like that,
Yes.
as you know, Mr. Garcia. So these young girls had something to aspire for, so hopefully they can, I mean, be a princess, but to dress up, look good for themselves. You know, maybe get an acting career. So it was. I think I have to give Celia a pat on the back for making that happen. Then also, Richard Carranza was our HISD superintendent, was also our grand marshal. So it was, you know, let people know that, hey, we have our own. And it was funny when even at TBH, when he was there, people were coming up, students were coming up taking pictures. Can I take a picture with you? Can I talk to you? Can I talk to you about a daughter, a job for my daughter? You know, and this, you know, you don't get that anywhere else. So it was really a good feeling that all this took place at TBH. You know, it's, you know, great events are happening, great things are happening at TBH. So I was very proud. And then also, I forgot to mention last thing, LULAC did a big banquet on Friday where they honored, you know, all the Hispanics that have been in positions that were elected pushers. We have a new Hispanic fire chief, a new Hispanic police chief, a new Hispanic HISD superintendent, and now we got appointed a new HISD, University of Houston downtown president is Hispanic. So they were honoring those four. And then the lady from the Port Authority, Ms. Longoria, she was also, so they honored those five, and they're going to be giving out scholarships. And the Latin Women's Initiatives, I didn't get a chance to go. I got invited last minute. We had to cancel them. I was too busy with the festival. But they gave a $10,000 grant to Shoes for Kids on behalf of Yolanda.
That's great.
So, I mean, it was just so much going on for single mom. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
One last thing I heard at the East End Foundation, I just drove by there. They had a piñata day. And they got a little grant, so they had a big bunch of piñatas out there with mariachis and Focoda Good Natures on the Esplanade on Sunday morning. So, you know, it's too hard to keep up with everything going on this side of town.
The East End is just blowing up, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really blowing up. You know what? Just one last shout out to my staff. You know, Lupe Casas, artistic director, Maria Garcia, Art. I can't say enough about Art Ornelas, man. He's out there and taking pictures, doing whatever he can do in the media. But you know, I really, man, my hat's really off to three young men that, man, without them we couldn't have done it. And that was Hugo Valino, our technical director, Rene Hernandez, the young man that did the sound. And my son Elias, you know, Elias Perez, man, those three guys were with me the whole time. I mean, Friday night we didn't get out there till 1:30 in the morning. Saturday we didn't get out there till 2:30 in the morning. But these kids were there helping, tearing things down, putting things up, doing whatever they had to do. So my hat's really off to them. I really thank them. And of course my wife, who was there. You know, if I'm there, she's there.
Right.
She don't trust me to be there by myself. You know? She's giving me that look again, Jess.
I know.
But anyway, again, and we want to thank everybody that came out. You know, Flaco Jimenez was very impressed with the facility. He asked me if he can come back and we could do something for him in August. Bring him back in August. He said he
sounds
wanted
good.
So we're going to see what we can do. We need to talk to Fred House Toyota again. Talk to Lydia.
We're doing we're now then the other thing, we didn't mention it last, you mentioned very briefly, but we had our Tejano History Month, which is came up April 15th through May 15th, which Javier picked the dates, but we're doing that. And I think we made a landmark decision and effort, and we were proclaimed by our mayor, City of Houston, and in Houston, and hopefully we're getting everybody else to start making the move. We proclaimed April 15th through May 15th as Tejano History Month. And the reasons were because 21st of April is San Jacinto Day. April 16th is Selena's birthday. Cinco de Mayo was led by General Ignacio Zaragoza, who was from Goliad, Texas, who won the battle. So, I mean, it was fitting that Javier picked those dates just right. And there's other things going on, but, you know, Javier, congratulations to you and me.
I did.
I wanted to do all April. He said, let's do this time. Perfect. And then we got Robert Gallegos to take the lead.
No, it was amazing, Mr. Bear. From idea to finish the proclamation took us 3 weeks.
Wow,
That was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, and then
I mean, who could be against it?
Kept
Against
focus.
honoring.
Oh, and then we had
Tejano heroes.
3 professors that came in. Jesus Esparza, which we didn't know. He's Dr. Jesus Esparza. He's a history teacher at Texas Southern University. And he teaches history. He has a
Very intelligent young man.
He has a Mexican-American history class, and over 50% of the class is black.
Yeah.
You know, so he's done. Then we had Tacho Mendiola, retired, professor
Right.
From the University of Houston Mexican-American Studies. He came out and helped out. And then who's the other one? There was another 3.
Oh, Jess. I can't remember my own
Was it
name
Dr.
half the time.
Wasn't Dr. San Miguel? It was.
Yes, it was San Miguel, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess it was
Yeah,
San
it was
Miguel.
San
That's
Miguel.
what he
Yeah,
was,
Dr. San Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah, and all 3 of them that helped us, and they gave out information in regards to it. And then we had our own seminar and symposium on Tejano history. Well attended, about 100 people showed up, and everybody kept patting us on the back. Do this again. I'm so impressed. It was so good.
Yeah.
Turned out really nice.
They want to. Well, hopefully we can get we'll have to see if they could get this mandate from the state.
Yeah.
You know, to make it Tejano History Month every April 15 to May 15.
We're going to work on Carol and Senator Garcia.
Senator Garcia.
Make
No,
it
before we go to break, Jess, we got to also thank, of course, our sponsors, Talento Bilingual of the Houston, TBH, and the NHPO Leadership Institute, which have been sponsoring us the last year or so. And it's really great to have them aboard. And, folks, please like us on Facebook. It's Latino Talk TV. Our Facebook page, and please like us, because that's how they measure us, huh?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Bob asked me how what's the time it takes to get for like this show to get on Facebook. He was looking for his show right away the next day. I think it takes about a week to download, right?
You know what? About a week. It takes a week because there's a process we have to do, and it's not as easy as pushing a button. So yeah, it just take about a week. So
anyway,
sure
he was getting excited, but you can go back and watch this show again, Doctor. I mean, are you a Dr. Garcia or just a?
No, I'm a cousin to a Dr. Garcia.
Close enough. Hey, Mr. Abel, Jess got an honorary a doctorate degree from HCC, so he's I keep
great.
telling him, Jess, if it was me, they'd be calling me doctor already. the doctor of jumping, Dr. Jumping Jess.
Yeah, I was very blessed to be.
Doctor of Tejano.
Graduation. We have a lot of graduations coming up, Javier. So we got to. I saw that our past president, the First Lady, Mrs. Obama, she made a big point where she was telling everybody, all the graduates, congratulations, and we need to do the same. Heard some really good stories of some of our Hispanic graduates who are graduating, going on to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and other great colleges, and UT, A&M, and so we got to congratulate all our graduates for doing a great job. So I'm just so happy. I'm just so impressed. It seems like there's more and more Hispanics that are graduating high school, even though they say we have a huge dropout rate, but we still have a lot of them that are graduating. So
Jess, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to be back in a couple minutes. We're going to talk at length with
Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Abel Garcia, talk about employment in these days and how to find a good paying job.
I saw that too, how to market yourself.
There you go. There you go.
Get back on top.
So we'll be back in a couple minutes, folks. Stay tuned. Thank you for sticking with us here at Latino Talk TV. Now we're gonna finally talk what we brought Mr. Garcia in the first place. Is talk about finding a job in this market, how to promote yourself. You know, Mr. Garcia has a lot of experience. Written 5 self-help books, right? Mr.
Right,
Garcia,
that's correct.
Just had 1 or 2 just translated into Spanish?
Yes, the first one's in translation in Spanish.
So, man, that's fantastic.
You want to give us the titles of your 5 books, if you don't mind? Can you remember them all?
Yes.
Not like us, that we don't forget all the time.
The brand is Market Yourself to the Top. That's the brand of the book, Market Yourself to the Top. Market Yourself to the Top is the original book. And then the brand is Market Yourself to the Top, 35 tips from a executive search consultant is another book. The Job Plan would be another book. Another one is Market Yourself to the Top, especially for the working woman.
Wow,
and
great.
I'm working on a book now, Market Yourself to the Top, especially for the recent graduates.
Great.
And
That's what we need to do.
because I did a program with Miss Emily Cold with students, high school students that were very successful, I'm also wanting to do a book on Market Yourself to the Top, Becoming Tomorrow's Leaders, and that's what we call the program. We did 4 classes of Becoming Tomorrow's Leaders and had phenomenal success, not because of us. The kids had the talent, as you mentioned before. The kids have a lot of talent. We just need to be able to help them, to be able to nurture them, and to be able to uplift them and empower them. So yes, I have 2 or 3 more books in the hopper that hopefully in the next 45, 60 days, I'll be able to knock on Talento Bilingüe's door and say, can I have a book opening here?
Yeah.
You know what I want to suggest, though, I think that I see as a problem is that I hear about a lot of people are losing their jobs in the oil companies and forth.
Right.
They're over 50, and they say that they're not employable anymore. Maybe doing a job, trying to get somebody that's 50 or 55 and over to get back into the job market, because as it is, they feel that they went to work for a place without a pension, or they didn't make the pension cut right away. Because I work at United Airlines, and I've seen a lot of people. You have to be 55 and get your 10 years in, and sometimes people work 20 years, 25 years, and didn't make the cut. When they hit 55, they lost everything.
Well,
it's sad.
Let me give courage to those that are 50 and above. The job market definitely is there for them. I think in today's market, experience really beats everything else, beats education, and nothing wrong with education, obviously, but experience will beat the day more than anybody. Because if I've already had experience, I've already had some success, I've already had some not some successful things, I know which hole not to step into and be able to do that. At my age right now, I'm consulting with a 4-restaurant group where the owners are like 32 years old, and they still listen to what I have to say.
Right.
Haven't been in the food business before. So I encourage everyone, no matter what their age is, to find the job that they really, really want to do. Not the one that they think they want to do, not the one that the wife or husband wants them to do, but the one they want to do and have had a burning desire to do. You know, one of the things, Jess and Javier, I always tell people, when you lose your job, that's great. Now you can go do what you really want to do.
Right.
There's something that you'll enjoy doing, because if you enjoy what you're doing at work, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, I love that when people say that.
May I make a suggestion? Because I was listening to what all you were saying about Flaco Jimenez and so forth. If you bring Flaco Jimenez back again from a fundraiser standpoint, do a fundraiser. Have him raise money for TBH.
Right.
Make it a deal where he can perform, or whether he can do something, but make it an event where you can raise some money, because that also is an important thing about bringing a key figure. And of course, obviously, then you can award him, make an award for having, later on, 2-3 months later, for having made this particular effort to help you raise money at TBH. Everything that you do at TBH should be with fundraising in your mind. I'll offer another suggestion for TBH. What I did, I brought 70 corporations in when I was at TBH. One of the things that people enjoy doing is going backstage. So what we would do is we would give a tour of TBH, take them backstage, call Ninfas for fajitas, feed them, run a little 5-minute segment of what TBH was about, tell them what our plan was, and then we ask them for money or equipment or anything they could give. And we had phenomenal success doing that. So that was one of the things that we did. We invited corporations, Exxon. When I went to TBH, there were 0 corporates. When I left, there were 21 corporates that were sponsoring TBH. I had a great staff. I had a great board member. So can't say that I'm going to take all the credit, because we had a great team effort at TBH. Another thing that you mentioned, which I think is quite important, TBH should continue to be kind of the place where, you know, we have these kids, nurture them, and be able to use their talent, because in the Latino community, a lot of times, you know, you can draw, you can sing, you can dance, you might not be able to play golf, and you may not be able to do ballet, but
Can't hit a baseball.
I'll tell you what, the mural at TBH obviously is a testament to the artistic part of Latinos and the minority communities, not just Latinos. So I would encourage that, where you can continue to be an incubator for young people to do their art and so forth. A little note of interest, I was in choir when I was in junior high and high school, and I always valued that as being able to step up and perform in front of people. It gave me that courage to be able to do that. So anything that a Latino or minority student can do, or even any student can do, they can be in front of a group of people and perform, talk, sing, recite a poem. That is a real plus. Becoming Tomorrow's Leader, the program that we did with Miss Emily Cole, had students for 3 days, 3-day seminar, 8 days, 3 days, 8 hours a day. They had to give 8 to 10 speeches during that 3 period. They had to project, they had to be able to, and just a side note, of the first 20 class that we had, all 20 graduated. Half of those graduated in the top 50%, half of those in the top 5%. And even the salutatorian that didn't speak English when she was in the 8th grade. Now, we picked them up in the 9th grade. We followed them for 3 years, and I went to a graduation for the first time in probably 20 years to see these kids. So kids are like plants, no matter who they are. Water them, nurture them, love them, and they'll grow to big, beautiful assets.
Let me ask you, Mr. Garcia, what is a common mistake that these young maybe graduates do coming out of college that kind of impedes them from getting the job they're looking for, and also versus what maybe a common mistake that an older person does that is new to that is back in the job market after having a job for many years and losing that position.
You know, our Anglo-Saxons, if you will, have pedigree. You know, their father went to Texas or to Harvard or to somewhere. It's tough to find educational pedigree in our community. So what we have to do is we have to create pedigree. Just some suggestions that I've made. Parents hopefully can get on board, and instead of having a birthday party with piñata and so forth, why don't we have a birthday party where we, at the age 1, start contributing towards the fund for the college, and then the kid becomes involved after 10 or 11 or 12 years old, that every time they have a birthday party, you know, bring the $20, bring the $10, let's build this fund. I think it's a mental process that the community, minority communities can go through.
I love that idea.
And you know, I have a son, an older son, and 2 sons. They follow their kids everywhere they go, to their soccer, to their violin, and so forth. So, and I know that we are hardworking and we have to work. Most parents work, but if we'll just lend encouragement. I was the owner of Dairy Queens for many years, 15, 16 years, and what I learned about kids is that you have to continue to respect them. You have to continue to give them great advice. You have to continue to encourage them. And when they make a mistake, make a little deal about it. And then again, sometimes in our parents' home, we're so excited and so forth. We're so demonstrative in the Latino communities, and sometimes we go overboard when the kid makes a mistake. When a kid makes a mistake, say, it can be done this way or that way, instead of being harsh. And when he or she does something well, wow, you did this really well, you did this spectacular. I mean, give them a reputation to live up to. And I think if we do that, if we begin to encourage our kids, if we continue to value what they do, if we continue to uplift them, you know, I'm doing a consulting gig in the restaurant business. I introduce everybody around me as, this is my assistant, this is my key person, this is so-and-so, and they'll say, boy, you run a great restaurant. I have a great staff, just like you guys were complimenting your staff. I think if mother and father would just take a little time to do that, I think that it would be great. However, it's a two-way road. In doing this, Becoming Tomorrow's Leaders, I asked the kids for their first assignment, who's your hero? And don't tell me it's Michael Jackson. Don't tell me it's, basketball. Don't tell me.
Mars,
Who's your hero?
Madonna.
When your back is against the wall, who's your hero? And the 20 kids say, well, mom is or dad is, mostly mom. And so I said, well, this is your assignment. Tonight you go home and you task mom. You want 15 minutes of her time. And during this 15 minutes of her time, I want you to tell her why you love her and why she's important to you. And then just get ready. And so we had that class assignment they had to give. Well, every one of them said that their mother cried, their father cried. You see, one of the things we taught them in this class is that love your mother and father, love your teacher, love whoever is your higher being is. It's all about love and it's all about caring. So these kids begin to cry. Not being an educator, I said, Miss Cole, I don't know if this is right or not, but let's go give a hug to Emily and to Lupe, and everybody went around the room and hugged. So we bonded, okay? And that bond, because of the love and because of the assignment, turned out to be a great deal.
Yeah.
So
we do that as part of the Leadership Institute with Javier, and that's awesome. I'm glad
we're huggers, right? We're huggers, we're kissers.
Right.
We should continue that. That's a great tradition.
Right.
Absolutely.
The book.
I just wanted to compliment you. We had a comedian at the house at TBH named Happy, but Happy's also an educator, and he had my. We did a presentation at the Hispanic Forum, what they had for children, and then he complimented my son. My son was his roadie. He said, "You know what? You've been well trained." He said, "First of all, you got a good handshake, so very firm. Number two, when you talk to me, you look at me in the eye."
Right.
He said that's one of the things that us as parents don't teach our children is to shake a good hand, have it make it firm. And when you talk to somebody, we're always looking down at a humbleness. Look to somebody in the eye, when you do. And then, the other things is like what you're saying, the speeching, that we're not taught that in high school and college, first thing, one of the best classes is a speech class that you should take. Another one is a typing class, so you can learn how to type and correspond. So, these are great points. So thank you, Mr. Garcia, for mentioning all that. Do you have any other suggestions?
When my children were small, I have three adult children, I would teach them, shake my hand, give who you are. Well, I'm Abel Garcia Jr. Well, I'm Michael John Garcia. Well, I'm Enrique Garcia. I taught them. And in the restaurants that I'm in, I'll ask the kids, do you read? Yes. If I give you a book, would you read it? Yes. Shake my hand. And the women, don't shake your hand like shake it firmly. Yeah. Look me in the eye,
Right.
Be positive. So I teach those things. Let me just go about market yourself to the top, because, there's the elevator speech.
Right.
My elevator speech is, I help people become more than they think they could ever be. Not because I'm great, but because you can be. We're our worst enemies. We don't need anybody to tell us, that we're too ugly, too small, too fat, not intelligent enough. We always
I'm none of those
criticize. We always criticize ourselves, right? Right. We before we get to the door of opportunity, we've already shut it. So I teach a very simple exercise. Draw a circle, put your name in it, and then draw up and down across, just like you cut a pizza. And you draw those lines, and then in each one of the end of the lines, you put a circle, okay? There's 8 things. Everybody has at least 8 great attributes, if you just think about it. But we're too busy thinking about what we don't have rather than what we do have.
Right.
So what you need to do is say, I'm honest, I'm intelligent. If you think you're handsome, I'm handsome or pretty. It's not what I think or you, it's what do you think? What do you bring to the table? I'm industrious, I'm creative. And when you do those 8 things, and you look at them, I'm a great believer that from your hand to your brain, because the brain is just a computer, until we put something in it, until we move it, nothing happens. So when you make it happen that way, then you begin to have confidence. The key thing about market yourself at the top, you have to have confidence. And you build confidence by preparing yourself to saying, I was built in the image of somebody better than me, right?
Right.
And I am this and this and this and this and this. So here's an example, very quick example. You can either go and apply for a job online and say, I'm going to apply to the engineer, or you can prepare yourself with these 8 things, and so all the things that you've done. I do a portfolio with 7 to 8 pages instead of a resume. And if you're an engineer, send your portfolio to the president of the engineer in the company. Go to the top. Everything flows best from the top down. And instead of saying, and I was just going over this, instead of saying, well, I'm going to apply for a job, I came to be part of your company because this is what I do and I think I can help. Do you need someone like me? Because as an employer, because I had businesses for a long time, you had to kind of pull the information. But if somebody came and
Yeah,
said,
set yourself
Mr.
apart.
Garcia, I'm an industrious guy. I'm buying a car and I need
That's
the money.
a great tip.
I'm hardworking. I'm honest. And one of the things I teach, if you're not happy with me in 2 weeks, I'll leave. You won't have to say anything. 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks.
Wow,
That's a win.
a good speech.
Mr. Garcia has a lot to say. And you know what? And one of the things, folks, if we hadn't mentioned before, Mr. Garcia is looking at starting a show here at HMS Studios. So it'd be great. It'd be great if he can get that show. And we're telling him that, he could have our spot during the summer as long as we get it back in September. I don't know if that would happen. But Mr. Garcia, we'd love to bring, and please let us know how we could help you, because I think you have a lot to say. It's great. I think you would have a fantastic show.
Thank
you. So
you.
we really need to push your talk.
Before I forget, and I'm sorry for interrupting, please let me thank you for having invited me. Javier.
Oh, no,
And
absolutely.
thank
Our
you very much
pleasure.
for having
Thank
invited
you.
me here. It's a pleasure, it's an honor, and to be in the midst of TBHers.
I'll be honest with you, I'm encouraged, I'm pumped up, because I know one good friend of ours, Rogelio Marroquin, always says we have to learn something every day. You've taught me a lot today already.
Well, thank you.
Now I just need to know, where can we get your book? How can we contact
right,
you?
absolutely.
Your phone number, if you're on Facebook, or if you're on YouTube with any of your speeches. So can you sell us your
have
social
a
media
website or
background?
anything?
Yes, very quickly. The best way is go to Amazon. All my ebooks are on Amazon, and you can go under Abel, A-B-E-L-R, Garcia, as an author, and it'll show you the 4 books. They're very inexpensive, $3.95, 99 cents.
Oh, good.
That sort of thing. And,
That's my price.
Yeah.
I can afford that.
Abel's Corner in employment tips hopefully is around the corner here, where we can help a lot of people, be able to have courage to go out and get the job that they want to get.
Mr. Garcia, we're going to be talking about immigration next segment. Do you want to hang on, or do you have to go?
Sure. No, it's fine. I can,
Oh,
I can
great.
sit
We're
around.
gonna talk-
You're great company. I'd love to sit with you.
Well, folks, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back with our good friend Cesar Espinosa Fiel. We're gonna talk about the immigration process right now with the immigration issue, and also SB4, which as we know, the governor just signed the bill, Sanctuary Cities bill. So hang on for a couple minutes. We're gonna get him on, and we'll start it up again. See you in a minute.
You know what? I forgot I haven't.
Thank you for coming back to Latino Talk TV. Now we're going to talk some immigration. We have our very good friend, the head of Fiel, Mr. Cesar Espinosa, also a graduate of the NHPO Leadership Institute.
Yes.
And also along with us, we have a very special guest, Ms. Judith Reyes Gomez, right? And she is currently in the NHPO Leadership Class 16, right? You're getting ready to finish up
Yes.
and get ready to graduate in a few weeks.
Indeed.
So Judith, thanks for joining us. And this is part of the experience. We throw you on camera without any warning, and you just want to see how good you do. So say hi to the people out there, Judith.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Good. Cesar, this has probably been a crazy time for you, and I tell you, a lot of information, misinformation, a lot of fear. I mean, you name it, going out there in the immigrant community right now. SB4, of course, we kind of expected it would pass in the present Republican administration that right now that's in Texas. So it did. Where are we at? What's going on with that?
Well, the law was signed just last night on a Sunday night, on a Sunday evening, without any mainstream media coverage. It was done on a Facebook Live, the first law to be signed on Facebook Live in the state of Texas it's very telling that it was signed on a Sunday night without there being any back and forth from the media, without the media being able to ask questions on the motives or why it was signed. Today we have been hearing dead silence from the leaders or the so-called leaders of SB4, including Governor Abbott. So we condemn the fact that he signed it on a Sunday night without any public input, without any media input, and at the same time, we are very worried about what this is going to mean, not only to undocumented people in the state of Texas, but to people in general. The law, SB4, says that if an officer has suspicion as to question your immigration status, they may do so at any time during any interaction with the police.
Well, I tell you, Cesar, I'm waiting for them to ask me. Woo! I'm waiting for them to ask me. Take me to jail, 'cause I ain't gonna tell them a thing.
All right. We got you down there, a list of people.
I'm gonna call Cesar. Cesar, get me out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm hearing also, Cesar, I was talking to my wife, Gloria, about it, and the feedback that's going on, they're saying that they asked the governor, what happens when a police officer does not want to, take an immigrant to jail or go through it's what I'm hearing. The majority of our officials, or what they call police officials or county officials, whatever, constables, don't want to go through the process because of the paperwork. And so they're saying, now the governor's saying, if that police officer or county constable or sheriff does not want to follow through, arrest that officer. That's what the governor's saying. Is that true?
Yeah, one of the amendments about SB4 was that the officers can face criminal penalties for not enforcing SB4. And today, just a couple of hours ago, we just got incredible news, unprecedented news, that Governor Abbott has actually sued Travis County and the city of Austin for the sheriff not wanting to collaborate with immigration. So he's not only signed SB4, but he's gone as far as to use our taxpayer money to set precedent in suing Austin and the city of Austin and Travis County for not implementing federal immigration law, which at the end of the day is not the state's job.
And you know what? And the thing about it, though, a lot of that is just that Travis County is a bastion of the Democratic Party here in Texas. All the Democrats are in control there, and it's political.
Oh, it's really definitely political. Yeah, it's definitely political.
And I think the first thing we need to tell them, I was reading some of the notes that they had on the Facebook. I was saying, I so wanted to put on there, we're going to remember in November 18.
Oh, yeah.
So we will remember you, Governor Abbott.
Most definitely.
We'll actually remember what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, and that's why they did it in the middle of the night on a Sunday evening,
Yes.
just so they didn't have that type of family. But that's okay, because we're going to have a long memory.
And one of the things that is also is very telling that today there has been media that has been trying to contact the author of the bill, trying to contact them, asked about the constitutionality of SB4. and there has been dead silence because a lot of these lawmakers did not read the bill. A lot of them did not,
went about along party lines.
They just went along party lines and voted for a very bad bill. The other thing, going further into what it's going to affect, I was just talking to Judy right now about the different industries it's going to affect. People are already vowing not to move into the state. People are thinking about moving out of the state, and different businesses are saying they are no longer planning to do business with the state of Texas, including there's been rumors that the NFL, the NBA, a lot of major sports functions are no longer going to consider Texas as a venue because they feel that people are just not going to come into the state. We're just talking about that we went to the Cinco de Mayo celebration at Miller Outdoor Theater and it was empty. And that could be very telling of the fear that exists in people, knowing that they're no longer able to even go out to a public venue along with their families.
Now, Cesar, what is the next step? Is this going to go into the courts?
Yes, Amaldev, ACLU, along with other organizations, we're planning to join in the lawsuit. We also hear that there may be other jurisdiction cities that are willing to put forth lawsuits against the state of Texas because they feel that it's also cutting into their local resources and their local jurisdictions in terms of having more state and federal control over what the cities can do. So we know that it's already going to be challenged in the courts. Unfortunately, we were just on a phone call with the ACLU and SB 1070, which is the law, which was actually a less harsh law, which was implemented in Arizona, took 7 years to resolve. So we may be in this for the long run, and in the meantime, people who are just hardworking, many people could get deported from our.
Now let me ask Judith a question. Judith, you're a realtor, right?
Indeed.
How does this affect the business community?
We've seen.
I mean, they think that these immigrants come in, these undocumented, and they think they live in a bubble. They don't buy gas, they don't rent houses, they don't buy houses, they don't buy property, they don't buy groceries. I guess they don't think they do none of that. But that would be a real impact on industries like your own, right?
It's going
like
to affect
yours.
our industry. We've seen that change already. A lot of people were scared before the law actually passed. Mm-hmm. And the questions that they ask is, hey, you think we're going to be okay? I mean, it's hard to talk to families and tell them, hey, it's not going to get passed. What do you tell them? And a lot of these people were having a hard time trying to get a loan. A lot of them would pay with cash and whatnot. But now that they purchased homes or whatnot, the ones that are already owners, they're already calling saying, hey, I need to get rid of my house because we don't know if we're going to get deported or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And it's scary. I mean, it's going to affect the industry. It's going to affect everybody.
So now they're going to get a real look at the buying power of the Latino community.
I'm hearing the same thing, is that Hispanics or the undocumented are holding their money. Well, they have $10,000 in the bank and they were going to use it for a down payment on the home. They're saying that maybe it's not a good time right now, so they're going to be holding on to their money and not going to be buying that car or buying that home. So it's definitely going to be a shutdown on the economic situation here, like you're mentioning, Javier.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we've been hearing that a lot too. People are saving for a possible deportation. So instead of investing that money into real estate or into buying cars or into purchasing more things here, people are holding on to their money for a possible deportation, and we could see that in the near future.
Now, you've been doing this for a lot of years, Cesar. I mean, you're one of the most powerful activists I know, and you're only, how old are you now, 29, 30?
We won't discuss that on air. I'm somewhere around there.
Have you hit the big 3-0 yet?
I have, yes.
But you know what, Cesar, and you've been doing this since you were in high school.
Yes, sir.
That's the thing about Cesar. It's a very short list of people that have organized this march of over 10,000 plus people, and this young man is certainly one of them. Now, you're undocumented.
Yes.
How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Are you scared?
Well, it's different for me because I've always been very challenging to systems of power and oppression.
So I sit back there, take me.
So I'm not afraid. I mean, I've been undocumented, fully undocumented without a work permit before, and I'm not afraid of being undocumented again or what could happen. I am very fearful, though, of the people who don't know their rights, who don't know that they have rights here in the United States, and especially people that have children. It's very heartbreaking, Javier, to go into some of these schools and the moms at the end of the presentations, they pull you aside and they ask you, well, where can I sign the letter for my kids, on who to leave my kids with,
Yeah.
or properties or things like that. We were
And
just
that's
at,
exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be splitting the family.
we were just at a high
already
school
seen it.
where at the end of the presentation there was a full house, and it wasn't even us that said we're going to have this presentation. The kids asked the administration to have us come in to explain to them what was going on, and at the end of the day, at the end of the presentation, 3 little girls were crying because they just didn't know how to act. So the only thing that we are here to tell them is, they may take everything away from you, but they can't take what your soul and what's already in your mind. So for the kids, we tell them to keep going to school, and nothing has changed. And if something changes, then they'll be ready. They're bilingual, they're educated, and they'll be ready to face whatever obstacle they may come their way.
And Cesar, on a personal side, since you're a good-looking young man, intelligent, why didn't you get married yet to get your papers?
See, I was just,
That's the easy way out.
So
No, 'cause I mean, like,
we
let's
do have
move
about
on.
2 hours left to discuss this subject, right? That's a very complicated.
Because we've had offers to marry off Omar for $2,000. Said I would marry Omar. Well, he'll get it. I'll get my
Jeff's son,
papers.
Omar, yeah.
I'll get some papers. Well, she used to work with Omar at the school.
Really, Judith? That's great.
Yes, he was one of my babies.
Omar is a fantastic young man.
Yes.
So I don't know if to marry him off or not, Javier.
He may not ask your permission, Jeff.
That's right. He can at least do it 5 times in the state of
Absolutely.
Texas.
You know what? We're running out of time.
Yes.
Cesar, what's one thing you would advise the immigrant community to do right now?
Number one is for them to know their rights. That's the best thing. I was just told by a legislator in Austin that because I'm not a citizen, I don't have rights. And there's nothing more incorrect than that.
That's absolutely.
The Constitution of the United States protects rights as long as you're a resident within the continental United States. So people need to know their rights. They can always contact us. We're going to be launching a hotline with the ACLU where they can report abuses by police. And so we want folks to take advantage of all these tools so that we can continue to fight back and
We're
resist.
finishing this season with Omar. We're going to take the summer off. When we come back in September, we want you to be our first guest.
All right.
Let's talk about him, okay?
Sounds good.
Folks,
if I'm not arrested by then, I'll be back.
If he's still in the country.
Yes.
But folks, we want to thank you here at Latino Talk TV. We've been doing this show continuously for 7 years. We're going to take the summer off. So I want to thank our great team of volunteers. Of course, Pat Perez, our producer Enrique Arana, Hector Sanchez, Natalia Garcia, Sophia Aranda, and Diana Camero, and we had a new one, Corey Lathan. Thank you guys for always being there and helping us out. We got to go, Jess.
And also your daughter, Ellie, who stepped out.
Yeah, she stepped
a lot.
out, but hopefully she got. And thank you guys for being here again.
Thank you.
Judy,
for
congratulations.
having me.
You'll be graduating a few years from the LI. We
Yes.
expect a lot from you, young lady. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you. We'll see you next